is what a great day, right? What an absolutely great day for football. Make no mistake about it. We are 24 hours out from the start of the National Football League, right? Buccaneers and Cowboys, we appreciate everybody coming aboard the National Football Show as we do each and every single day, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 Eastern Time. Thank you so much for coming aboard, okay? Hey, really, man, I appreciate it. Like you guys coming aboard and adding the content. That's what we do here now, okay? You know, I found myself talking to myself. You have to understand something about an old school sports radio guy like myself. Do you understand that I sit in a room by myself that's padded with no windows? Like people that like that are in like mental asylums. Okay, that's kind of what they're – the only thing missing is a straitjacket. That's what I do. But now what we've done here, because of the new show we have and the new format, we allow you guys to bring some content to the program. You know what content means? Conversation. And that's what you guys do here on the National Football Show. We so appreciate it, like I said. And by the way, Tone, appreciate you coming aboard. We'll get to you here in a second. Anything you guys want to bring up, we got, like I said, 24 hours to the start of the NFL season. College football already has some big news already. And Deshaun Watson, the latest on him. We'll always start out with Eagles because that's kind of where we're based and we kind of work out. Anything you guys want to bring up about the Birds, please have it. We welcome your comments. I mean, look, I can't wait for Thursday night. We had Bruce Arians on with us yesterday. That was dope, wasn't it? Muhammad, appreciate you coming aboard. Yo to you too, brother, as my friend Ice Cube would say. Thank you. So let's get here. Rick Gosselin's going to join us. He covers the Dallas Cowboys for Talk of Fame Network, and he used to work for the Dallas Morning News, and he is also a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. He's covered the Cowboys for the last 35 years. Him and Randy Galloway are probably the biggest voices in Dallas when it comes to that team. Here's a question to you about Dak Prescott. You think Jerry Jones is sold on Dak Prescott, or do you think Jerry Jones had to pay market value for Dak Prescott? And basically what I'm saying is he had to settle. You think Jones settled? Because, look, going into that Thursday night game, I look at Dak Prescott and go, you think he's really a top 10 dude? I don't know. So we'll talk to our friend Rick Gosselin from Talk of Fame Network. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. Anything you guys bring up always gets pushed to the front. We're going to talk my NFL MVP candidates. We're going to do 3 of those guys. Howie Roseman had some comments. Tua not named captain with the Miami Dolphins. Is it a big deal or no deal? My top 10 college football teams, I put my ballot in a couple nights ago. I'll tell you how I see that. Also, Atlanta versus Philly. Let's start it off here. Smile says, Cowboy OG, Zach Martin out, confirmed. I'm not sure yet. I have not heard. I heard the latest is he still may be a go for Thursday night. So I'm not sure on that. Okay? Muhammad says that Dak Prescott was signed for that contract because of market value. And I'm assuming, Muhammad, when you're saying that, okay, when you look at him, you're not thinking he's a top 10 quarterback, right? How about this? Do you think there's a shot that one day maybe Jalen Hurts could even be better than Dak Prescott? I think Dak's an awful accurate quarterback. I'm not sure about what we see with Jalen Hurts yet. Tone says, has your score prediction shifted at all? No, I got 28-20. No, I said 26-20, didn't I? I said 26-20. I think I said yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tone. I thought I said 26-20. Eagles win that football game in a tight one. So, yeah, no, it hasn't changed. Nothing's changed. Not at all. I still think the Eagles are a little bit more talented. And you know where I think they're more talented? And we'll get into that game here in a little bit. I think they're more talented in the lines. And I do believe that you have a – now, look, I'll say this to you. I think Brian Flores is a better coach than Nick Sirianni and his coaching staff right now. You can't say – you couldn't say when you're talking about, the coaching staff, when you're looking down at Miami and you see what Miami has, right? There's a good coaching staff. Now, I think what really favors the Eagles going into this Falcons game, I think that it's a push when you're talking about coaching staffs. Joey B, appreciate it. Heard the Dolphins pick captains out of a hat. Did they? Trevor, I didn't hear that. And by the way, that would be a brutal way to pick a captain. Because being a captain on a football team and being chosen by your teammates out of a hat, I mean, that's absurd. I'm not picking my captain out of a hat. When I say that I want this particular guy to lead me in an NFL locker room or a college locker room, or for that matter, a high school locker room, any room, I want it to matter, and I want you to know what I said. I don't want it to be secret ballot. I want you to know I think that guy could lead us. I want to follow him. What's wrong with being honest? I don't need secret ballots for that. Have some balls about yourself instead of being people that have unnamed sources like in our stupid media. Well, yeah, unnamed sources are saying that this guy's a jackwagon. I hate those people. Put your name on it. Put your name on it out of a hat. Not picking anybody out of a hat. Tone Tua not being named captain is a big deal. They don't believe he can lead them in Ward. Tone, I'm with you on that. I think it's a big deal, too. I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal that Tua was not named captain going into his second year. Okay? And he's not a team captain on that team. You know why? Some of the stupid comments that he made. He made comments that, he wasn't prepared as much as he should have been a year ago. Bro, when you make it to the National Football League, you got to put the work in and you got to put the study time in. That was one of my failures. I think it's a big deal. I think they say publicly the one thing that Howie Roseman wouldn't say about Carson Wentz. They're doing all that public backing, but they don't really behind the scenes with their actions show that they really have Tua's back. Am I wrong when I say that? The rumor mill's out there that the Dolphins and the Texans have been talking. I mean, really, right? I think they say all the things publicly, like the State Department, like people at the White House. Do we or do we not have a hostage situation? I don't know. I can't tell any longer. So just be real and just be honest here. But you see, that's a way to keep the value of Tua up. Joey B, veterans run the locker room. He ain't there yet. He's not tested. Nope, you're right. I mean, no, I'm just, again, me throwing this out. I believe Watson will be in Miami before next season. We're going to get to that. Let me get to a comment here that Howie Roseman said, and let me ask you guys what you think about it. So Howie Roseman, the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles, has come out, and you know what he said? He goes, I'm sure someone asked the question, but tell me if you think this is an odd answer. And my reference, I wish that I had known if he was asked this, because here we go. Yeah, I believe that Jalen, I think he can play, and I think he can win. Okay. Doesn't that sound like somebody selling me something? I don't need to have Bruce Arians go, boy, this guy Brady can play. That's a given. Okay? This guy Brady can win. That's a given. Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson. It just sounds like you're selling something. Selling confidence? Are you BSing the fans? Was that comment? Yeah, okay. Hey, let's deduct it here. Howie Roseman was talking to the Philadelphia Eagle fans and telling you that Jalen Hurts, in his eyes, can play and he can win, even though there's no backing to it. Okay? And all he's doing is he's doing coaches talk. He's trying to motivate. But when you do stuff like that, doesn't it come off contrived? Because people at Lincoln Financial will see if he can play or not. And then you got to come back and potentially eat crow on the fact that you think this guy was going to be a good player. And by the way, you got your name on this thing here because you traded up in the second round to get this kid, and now you're saying he can play and win. Okay? General manager made another comment around the league like that today, and I'll get to that point. He put a coach on the hot seat. I'll basically tell you who that guy is in a minute. So when Howie does that, I get nervous when people have to sell me a guy. Like when you get a job, especially in my business. You know what's funny? I won't say the name. Krause will love this one. I go, what do you think of this guy? You know what he sends me? He sends me audio of the guy. I knew right there he sucked. I knew right there. I'm like this. That ain't happening now. No way, man. You're sending me audio of the guy? Is he good or not? You be the judge. I'm not, no. I want to hear what you think. I value your opinion. That's why I freaking asked you the question. Here's a sound clip. I listened to 1 second of it. I said, I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, man. You don't have to sell me on people. You know, Fred Akers, the former Texas Longhorn coach, used to have a rule called the 20-foot rule. You know what it was? He only needed to see 20 feet of a game film of a player, and he would always go like this, that guy's a player. I don't need to see film after film after film. You give me 20 feet of a guy's game film, and I'll tell you flat out if he can play or not. That's all you need to see. I don't need to see 70 practices. I know if the guy can play or not. You know if this guy's going to be a good quarterback. Like, think of Baker Mayfield. I do this. I don't know. I see moments. Can't have moments in the NFL. You have to have consistency. That's one of the biggest things you have. You know, so, I mean, Howie's in here doing this. Well, this guy's good. Trust me. I don't know if I trust you, dog. You blamed the last 2 years of the Eagles' failures on Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. Am I wrong? Because the last guy standing is the guy who had to have been pointing fingers. You think the owner, when he was looking at the triangle, Wentz, Doug Peterson, or Howie, you know he had a come to Jesus conversation with himself, and he said, which guy is more valuable to my organization? Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson, or Howie Roseman? And the owner of the Eagles chose the GM. So the general manager right now is having to sell that roster to the owner. Am I wrong? You know, when you make a hire and you're hiring people and you bring them into the building and you're the guy that brought that in, what's the one thing you want to make sure? You protect your own gig. You protect your job. You make sure you're not getting fired. So what do? Well, he's not managing them right. He's not utilizing his assets correctly. He's not coaching them good. When we hired him, we checked all the boxes with that guy. Maybe we don't have the right teachers in the building. That could be a factor here for the Eagles going into 2021. How do you guys know you have the right coaching staff? How do you know that? Okay. Just Mike says Howie must have some you know what on him, the owner. Okay. No, dude. Why do you think you keep a general man? Let's take a look at the NFL and where general managers have the power. And I'll show you an instance here that is a form of controlling the money. Okay, watch this. Okay, in Dallas, the ownership is the front office. They're in complete control of the money and the roster on game day. Right? Philadelphia, the general manager and the owner are in charge of the roster. It's kind of why it's been fumbling. It's clearly why they fumble. And I say this to you. One of the reasons why in Green Bay that situation is not more consistent in winning championships is because you're run by a committee and a board of directors. Okay? In Detroit, the front office is run by Ford Motor Company. I told you this yesterday. They don't run that thing like an NFL team. They run it like the Ford Motor Company. 78 different decisions and no clear clarity in the building. That's why the Lions never win. Because they run it like an automaker. 28 different floors, billions of people looking at and making decisions and throwing their opinions, who basically shouldn't have an opinion. The more clarity you get in a front office, okay, the less people you have to ask, what do you think of this? You know, I gave a for instance, and an example of this. Remember Mike McCoy used to be the head coach of the Chargers? You know, Mike McCoy used to ask, like, the maintenance people over at the old San Diego Charger facility what he thought of a play that he was going to use in a game, what he thought about how they were doing. This guy's asking, like, the elevator operator, what do you think? I don't give a rat's ass what he thought. Hey, I'm going to treat people like people. But end of the day, man, I'm not asking you on my game plan for come Sunday on what you think of a spread option pass. I could care less. I'm going to talk to people I trust in that department. You ain't one of them. Kind of not your gig. But there's people that do that. Hey, what do you think of this? What do you mean, what do I think of this? I think you're weak asking me. So when Howie throws that out, you know what he's telling you? And the Philadelphia media? We think he can win. The Eagles believe he's a leader. The Eagles believe Jalen Hurts is somebody that we can turn the keys over to. It's up to the coaching staff now to coach him. See that divide? That's what he does in the building. He divides the building. See, there's a personnel department in that building, and then there's a coaching staff department. And the front office has more cachet and more collateral with the owner. That's why they fumble. Well, the only thing now, though, I'll say to this is, well, at the end of the day now, you fired Doug. You got rid of Wentz. If this thing falls on its face here, say at the end of the year we're looking at an Eagles team that everybody would go like this. Hey, man, this roster's better. And you win 5 games. Okay? And you're 5-12. 1 game increase from a year ago. I don't know how you don't fire that guy. Okay? And I don't know. I mean, I just don't know who else you turn to then. Because then you're looking at a coach in the room. Then you got questions on the coach. The general manager is overvaluing. And I don't believe he's overvaluing. I believe his issue is let the coach hire who he needs to hire when it comes to his assistants. Jimmy Johnson told me this a long time ago. I don't care what kind of head football coach you are. If you don't have great assistants around you, you have no chance of winning. In front offices today, they want to be involved in that decision process when it comes to hiring coaches. They like throwing suggestions out. You know, when I'm building a cabinet, it's kind of like building a cabinet. I'm not going to put a guy in my cabinet because my party wants me to. I'm going to put a guy in my cabinet because I think he's qualified and I think he's loyal. I'm not putting him in because he's loyal to the front office. You see that coaching staff in Dallas is also loyal to the ownership. How loyal do you think Kellen Clemens Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator in Dallas. How much do you think he's really loyal to Mike McCarthy when Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones hired him? Okay? I mean, you're overselling me, Howie. You really don't have to, man. I mean, give me a break. So I saw that. I was like, damn, dude, he could play? Well, no crap, man. He got drafted in the second round. He better be able to play. Can he win? How do you know that? Oh, that's what your assessment is. All right. Let's throw this out here. Let's have some fun here. We're going to have some fun here today, too, by the way. Oh, by the way, the Athletic put out who the greatest football player of all time is. I can't wait to talk to Rick Gosselin about that, too. I have 5 guys, okay, who the greatest NFL players are of all time. And I'd like your thoughts on that. As a matter of fact, let's do that now so we could set Rick Gosselin up, and we'll do the MVP in a little bit. Let me go to my list over here. I got my list here. Okay. 5, the Athletic came out today and said Brady was the greatest NFL player of all time. I'll give you a chance to put them up there. 5 greatest NFL players, in your opinion, in pro football history. Trevor's got Taylor, Peyton, Barry Sanders, Tom Brady. I like it. Bo is one of the greatest athletes, Mike. If not the greatest athlete I've ever been on a football field with. It's tremendous. And get this, man. I was on a football field with him when I was at Maryland my freshman year. We went to Jordan-Hare, and we went there and played there. They had Lionel James and this guy Tommy Agee and him in the backfield. They were really good. Pat Dye had a hell of a team that year. Here's my guys. My 5 greatest. Best of all time. God, Chuck Bednarik, man. Ray Lewis. Jim Brown. Reggie White. Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is the greatest offensive player in the history of the sport. And it's not close. Brady. And the greatest football player of all time, Lawrence Taylor. Changed the position. Joey B's got Butkus, Montana, Unitas, Peyton, Brady. That's a great list. Let me get to Rick Gosselin. Let me see what he says about this. Keep throwing those out there. We'll do it next. You keep it here on the National Football Show.
Hey, Eagles fans, if you're a subscriber to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, you are already registered to win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming season. That's right, you could win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming 2021 season just for being a subscriber. If you're watching and you're not a subscriber, do it now. Subscribe to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel right now. What do you need to do? Subscribe right now.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show. The Dan Sileo. Rick Gosselin, Talk of Fame Network, will join us here in a minute. Also from the Dallas Morning News, he is a man that's covered the Dallas Cowboys for the last 40 years. As plugged in as you can get, Pro Football Hall of Fame voter as well. And we'll get his spin on Thursday night's game. Can the Cowboys, and I retweeted a story that he wrote, can the Cowboys beat the Buccaneers on Thursday night? I think that thing's a blowout. You know what, though? We've seen crazier things on opening week of the NFL. Hell, we saw some crazy stuff this past weekend when it came to the college football opening weekend. So that's the thing. You just never know. Another year of maturity for Dak. He's coming off an injury, though. You know, how many times outside of Adrian Peterson have you really seen a guy just get back up on the horse again, and all of a sudden this guy is a rodeo king again? I mean, I don't know. He had no exhibition season at all. You know, he didn't really get a chance to throw the ball around a lot because they were concerned for his shoulder. We'll talk to Rick Gosselin. And, you know, we threw this topic out because The Athletic had said, you know, they had named their top 100 players in the history of the National Football League. And I put down Jim Brown, Reggie White. White's the best defensive tackle that will ever be. Okay? Smile says Aaron Donald is as good as it gets. I don't know. Smile, I don't think Aaron Donald's better than Mean Joe Green. I just don't. And I would look at this. I mean, he really is not that hot against the run. It's a different era today. I look at complete DTs, guys who rush the passer and dominate and win. Would we not agree? Mean Joe Green played on the greatest defense in the history of the National Football League. You won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. And 22 guys on that Steeler team were together for that dynasty. When you had the Cowboys, the Raiders, all those great football teams, the golden age of football. Mean Joe Green won 4 titles in 6 years, leading a group of men that is littered with Hall of Fame football players. He's the greatest Steeler of all time. There's no getting around that. I mean, he's right there, but Reggie's just different. Reggie dominated a football game. Let me start with Brown, though. Jim Brown, man. I mean, you know who Jim Brown was for his time? Jim Brown was like Wilt Chamberlain for his time. Now, look, I was not old enough to watch him play, but I've watched numerous games and films of him. And I've gone back and studied the games that he played, especially against Robustelli, my uncle. And I watched all those legendary football games against pretty good defense. And Brown was just like Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, he was just bigger than everybody, faster. Incredible. was like the babe of the NFL during his time. Nobody was close to him. He was bigger than defensive tackles. Just an absolute tremendous football player. And as I said, Reggie's number 4 for me. I have never seen a guy dominate a football game like I've seen Reggie White dominate a football game. And that means you could have Joe Montana on the field and John Elway, and the best player on the field would be Reggie. Reggie was just amazing. That hump toss that he had, how many times did you see him annihilate guys with one arm? And just throw guys that were 365 pounds on their head. I mean, he was, when God was making defensive tackles, he left his hand on the shoulder of Reggie White just a little bit longer than everybody else that played the position. I've never seen anything like him to this day. Sack in every game he played. I mean, that was his average. I know Bruce Smith has the record with 200 sacks. He broke Reggie's record. And Bruce is a hell of a pass rusher himself. But come on here. What we saw Reggie White do in Philly and in Green Bay, I think a little bit in Carolina, am I right? I think he ended it in Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Reggie's some football player. These 5 guys, in my opinion, I think they separate themselves. Jerry Rice is the greatest offensive player in the history of the league. Here's why. You had to get him the ball. How many times do you think Jerry Rice touched the football in a game? How many times, guys, you think Rice touched the ball in a game as an average for 21 years? How many? What would it be? 5 times?